What's in the box? Yeah, not your gentleman's periodicals. Yeah, something for me. Yeah, and I'll be confiscating those periodicals as soon as they come in. Hello and welcome to Tweed's Garage, where in this video we're going to be doing work on my Riley 9 Monaco. Yay, say the Riley boys, finally. Yes, well, the Riley's been behaving itself. Hasn't really needed a lot of attention. Didn't get a lot of use last year. A few car shows. Was going to do New Year's Day, but as everybody knows, it's been raining in the UK for about 6 months, and New Year's Day was a particularly wet day. So with the Riley being a fabric body, timber frame, bodywork construction, last thing you want to do is take it out in the rain and never get it dry before the summer. So we decided to leave it in the garage and yeah, just watch whatever film was on telly on New Year's Day. Can't remember what it was. Bridge over the River Kwai, something like that. Yeah, so anyway, we're going to be doing a performance upgrade. Yeah, I know, got something in the box here. Yeah, no, not supercharger. That would be nice, but yeah, they're sort of hard to come by. But anyway, this will be a bit of an improvement, not much on performance, but maybe drivability. So what we'll do is we'll go into the garage, have a look at the Riley, what we have there at the moment, and then we'll look in the box later and see what we're going to be putting on. Yeah, and I think that will probably do you, yeah, by the time we've explained all that. Okay, so let's go to the garage, have a look. So this is the current setup on the Riley at the moment. This is original, this is sort of bronze zenith carburettor, and it's got a sort of a heat tube system at the back, which I've restored. I had the back of the manifold repaired because it all rotted through with the exhaust gases eating away at the aluminium, and made some new tubes. But it is blanked off from the exhaust. It doesn't really do anything apart from a bit of transfer, you know, through the steel, making its way to this sort of side of the manifold. But yeah, this was for when fuel was really poor quality and you needed to sort of warm it up a bit to make it more combustible and sort of staying in a vapor state rather than sort of just, you know, turning back into droplets. But it's quite a torturous route that the fuel vapor has to go from. You know, it goes into the manifold here and then travels along and then reaches the first inlet, and then you've got the second one here, third one here, and the fourth one. So it's got, the fourth one's got to travel all the way up here and get into there. So you can imagine when the sort of the engine's cold, you know, by the time the fuel vapor gets to here, it's starting to sort of go back into droplet form and you know, not be very efficient, and sort of varying the mixtures across the cylinder head from one end to the other. And another thing I need to do, yeah, on previous videos I repaired this manifold. It had some pinholes here, and as Simon found in New Zealand, these are horrible castings. They're made from complete rubbish, and I managed to sort of save it, but it kept sort of opening up to bigger holes and bigger holes. But I did manage to sort of get it under control and repair it. But you can see where we've had a sort of seasons running, you can see like the fuel marks there. There is definite sort of pinholes where the mixture is getting out. So that means, you know, fuel's getting out and the air's getting in, upsetting the mixtures. And it's a sort of split mould, and there's a sort of mould line all the way around, runs through this casting. I'll show you on another one. And not only here, but along here, I've cleaned them off now, but there was little fuel weepage witness marks, you know, all along this casting here. So so we need to improve on that. So what I've got in the box should improve this no end. So what do we have to replace that? Well, in the box we have a pair of SU carburetors to go on. Now these were off of a Riley 9 Monaco, so, and they have been overhauled. They are old ones, but they're not quite of the period that would have been on my 1929 Riley if it had them fitted as an option, which you could get from the factory. These are slightly different. I'll show you why in a bit. So, but it also comes with a manifold. So the only thing I've got to do is, let's move that off of there. Sort out fuel banjos and fuel lines to the carburetors, sort out how I'm going to operate the choke levers on the carbs. These can be, you can spin these round so it can go on either side, so I can either have them sort of pull together or push away, or I've got to sort of sort all that out. But these aren't quite the correct ones, because the correct ones, I have a twin SU carb manifold. Where is it? Here. And as you see, the layout of the bolt pattern is different. The very early carbs, SU carbs, the bolt holes were on the sides of the carbs rather than the later ones where they're at top and bottom. And I've got some old bodies. I did sort of start collecting parts together, but you'll see the problem very much with like early amyl carbs. These are inch SU carburetors, and the Zenith on the Riley at the moment is a Zenith inch carburetor, so sort of no increase in the throttle size, but yeah, you've got two of them, so that sort of increases it a little bit. These are what would have been fitted, but I've only got the bodies. Oh, I've got a dash pot. To go on one. As you see, they're slightly different. They were before air filters, so they didn't have the backing flange to bolt to air filters and that kind of thing. They're just open to the elements, like the well, no, the Zenith does have a little, well, just a choke air filter on the outside, but it doesn't actually sort of stop any rubbish going in. So this is what it would have had fitted if it had it as an option, with the flange bolts on each side of the carburetor like that, rather than the later ones top and bottom like that. So this is a genuine Riley manifold. This one is probably, it's got some casting marks on it. Don't know whether it is Riley or some sort of option later on that, you know, some company made for Riley so you could fit. I think there's sort of Morris Minor carburetors were quite a popular thing to fit to the Rileys. So yeah, this is the plan. I mean, we could have looked, you know, could have used these, but they would have been a mix match pair. And also, like a lot of the stuff of this era, I think the aluminium's a lot better quality on these ones than I think these were some sort of pot metal again, where, you know, 90 years have taken their toll. Because if you look, I don't know if it will show up on camera. Let's have a look at the throttle openings there. That one, definitely you can see, it is oval. It's not round. That one's slightly oval. So they've distorted over time. I mean, that's an inch and a 16th that way. And yeah, 15/16 that way. So it's distorted over time. And also, you know, the throat opening on that side, they're not round anymore. They've all sort of warped with age. So, you know, you could stick them on to be absolutely as per the factory, but then we'd end up with the same situation, that drivability wouldn't be improved much, because they'd be, you know, causing all sorts of issues. So yeah, got a nice set of rebuilt carburetors that have come off a working Riley 9. They've just decided to sort of fit bigger ones on their one, so these were going spare. So this is what we're going to be putting on. Got a few other bits as well that I got off a very nice chap called Malcolm, who came up to me at the Basingstoke Festival and said, oh, I've got some Riley spares, come and have a rummage. So yeah, went and had an enjoyable afternoon going through some of his Riley bits and bobs. And yeah, so I managed to get, you know, a linkage with some ball ends each end, and a throttle lever to go on. So we're going to have to sort of make some arrangement up to go on, a few extra ball joints. Oh, a brass cap for the dash pots there. That's what the earlier carbs would have had on. Would be nice to sort of make something up to yeah, change these, just make it look a little bit more in period. Yeah, we've got a couple of those, so we might see if we can get those rods to fit in these. I think these have a nasty habit of being very difficult to get off though sometimes. And also you need a sprung link. You can get them from Berlin Fuel Systems. They do different types. They do like a sort of corrugated spring that goes on here, just a coil spring that connects the two shafts, because you're going to get some sort of misalignment between the two. And then Malcolm gave me this. I recognise this instantly, but these are used in the avionics industries between servos and on instruments and stuff like that. They're sort of like a you know, high quality aluminium with a sort of milled spiral on them, so they've actually got a bit of spring to them, and it's just to take out any sort of misalignment and play between, you know, sort of motor and a shaft. So yeah, he's got one on his Riley, so got that one there. And then the other issue is sorting out the chokes. I want to try and keep it looking original in the cab, so I managed to find this. He had this nice little Paul Rich choke cable. I think it's a bit longer than mine, so yeah, got a bit more leeway, so we can sort of change this over, keep this so this is sitting in the dashboard. And yeah, you know, if the cable's not quite right, we might be able to find out how they attach the cable on the other end. There's a lot of gunge in there, but I can sort of pick that out and have a look, suss out how they've done it. Yeah, so yeah, thanks Malcolm, and yeah, I must pop over and see you again. What else we need? Banjos for the fuel to go in, and that should sort of be, yeah, and all the linkages to connect it up to the throttle pedal on the Riley, and then need to sort out all the linkages and be able to connect it to the throttle pedal on the Riley. So that is what we're going to do. So another improvement I want to do whilst we're working on the carburetors, I've worked on this already. This fuel tap here under the fuel tank originally had a glass bowl filter, and the output of it was a lot lower, just above the brake pedal. So I was sort of always fearful that you might, you know, knock it with your foot if you were braking hard. And yeah, as you see, the fuel pipe goes along here and out there with the cabling. That's where it went when I got the car. But looking at sort of pictures of Riley's that I've seen, and looking at some other cars, the fuel pipe originally went out through this hole, see a little finger there, over here, along with the oil pressure line where that comes in there. So an improvement I want to do is sort of try and reduce the height of this if I can, and then have the pipe work going that way. I know it sort of goes uphill a little bit, but I might sort of make a little bit of a sump under the pipe outlet, so that any sort of rubbish coming straight down out of the tank can sit in there rather than sort of get drawn out towards the carburettor. Yeah, and as you can see, the fuel pipe comes out here, and it's not ideal because the fuel filter's rattling against the side of the bonnet. So it'd be better, I think, with the SU setups with the fuel banjos on each end. I should be able to bring the fuel pipe out here, you know, into the first carburettor, and then a link across to the other carburettor as well. So it will sort of get rid of all this fuel pipe hanging around this side of the engine. So the first thing I need to do is disconnect the fuel pipe and see if we've got any petrol to drain out of it. No, that's all dry. It's been standing for quite a while, so we haven't got to deal with that mess. And the next thing to do is drop the, I think it'd be easier to drop the throttle arm off the end of the carburettor. So just have a reach around the back here, and these are on the Zenith carburettors. They're all metric nuts, bolts and screw threads. I know this because I made a few bits and bobs for them. So yeah, being of French persuasion, they're all metric. So just drop the arm off, and then the only thing holding it on then is the 2 manifold nuts. So we'll get them off, and they are 5/16 BS or quarter Whitworth. And then with those off, we'll see how tight it is. And yeah, it's quite tight, so it needs a gentle bit of persuasion. So I'll go and get my tappy stick and a bit of wood. So I do apologise, Jenkins yet again failed to press record and missed me taking off the carburettor and manifold and the heat tube and bracket, exhaust plate and gasket, but they are all off. It was a bit tight, so went in with a piece of wood and a hammer between the engine and the bulkhead and managed to get it square on the back of the carburettor manifold and give it a good knock here, and that eased it free. And then same piece of wood up between the block and the manifold and eased it off that way and just tapped and wiggled, and off it came. That's all come off as one piece, all in a good order. We'll leave it like that because it will go back up on the shelf. And there's that repair I had done on the manifold there. They went in and laser welded all the outside and then all the inside as well. Yeah, you can see inside there sort of where the casting joins and also where the leak is. Yeah, you see there was a hole, there was a screw hole there that I filled with a threaded aluminium rod, tapped it and then screwed in a plug and then welded it on. So that was what that repair was. Yeah, and it was going to be small and it ended up being massive in the end. This will go on the museum shelf along with the other Zenith carb, because I was contemplating using 2 of these. You know, when one's bad enough, why not put 2 on, make it twice as worse. So that's that. Yeah, this is the exhaust hot tube. This goes on the exhaust manifold. Hang on, I have a spare one here like that. So you see it's open there, so the exhaust gases can go up through there. That bolts on like that, and then the gases go through these tubes. Well, they would go through these tubes, but I made these new tubes, and to make doubly sure no exhaust gases got up on the back of the manifold, these were machined from solid steel bar, drilled out, but not drilled all the way through. So there's a sort of a blanking plug in the middle of each tube. So yeah, that one came out fine. See, you can see that's. But I mean, I've only been in, done a few, not even, a couple of 100 miles at most. And yeah, all the rust and crud was flaking out of there already. Just heat and steel just rots it away. So plan with that to block this off. I was going to take the tubes off of this and then, bolt it back on with the spreader plate that I made here and the gasket on there like that. Just with the this bolted on the back to back it up, but there's nothing to stop it. When it gets hot and like I found it start to loosen a bit, there's nothing to stop the weight of this just turning around and loosening the bolt and making it leak again. So another little job I'm going to do on that, got a bit of steel plate here, and I'm going to mill out a cup that will go over this and around it as well, with a lip all the way around to stop it moving about, and nice and thick as well, so just to dissipate the heat off the gasket. And then the gasket will go in there, that'll go on there, and then yeah, that should keep it nice and secure and stop it leaking. And also if it's a cup as well with the gasket in, allows me to put some exhaust compound on there as well, just to belt and braces to stop it leaking. But it had been all right so far, but it was starting to blow down here, and this bolt was starting to come loose, so something I'll need to check next time. Make sure I check that occasionally. So with that off, we're just going to start getting ready to bolt it back on. There's a few jobs I want to do, work out the linkage to join these two up whilst it's easy, you know, on the bench here. A lot easier to sort than on the car. I've got to sort out some studs, so I'll go and get the studs off. So the last thing I need to do is, when I put the new manifold on, it's going to need shorter studs, so I've got to turn some shorter studs up. So we need to get these ones out. I'm hoping they don't go into the waterways because they're in the cylinder head. I'm hoping there's plenty of meat around them. But yeah, we'll soon find out. If it starts dribbling water, I'll have to drain down the radiator. So just double nutted with the two nuts that I took off. Ring spanner on the back. Make sure we don't slip off. And then nip the outside one down. Like that. And then lean on the stud. Yeah, that's moving. We'll exercise it as we go. It's coming out quite nicely. I'd probably add these out when I rebuilt it. Yeah, I think I did anyway, but I can't remember. I did make new exhaust studs for this, but I can't remember whether I made new inlet studs. It should just come off the socket. Keep an eye out, make sure there's no water comes dribbling out. I think we're okay. Before we get all the way off, let's just undo them so we can get them off. Alright, one stud. Yeah, I think I might have made them. You have to go back on my videos and look. Oh, that one's spinning already. So just gently double nut it. We should be able to wind that one out. Nice. It's nice when they've been out before in the past sort of 4 years rather than being sat there for 93 years. That's it, studs out. Okay, they come off nice and easy. So I've just got to make a new set of studs, slightly shorter, just long enough to go through the manifold. Let's take one of these carbs off. Yeah, mounts through there. So I need a stud to come through there, but not too far, so that we can get a nut in there. And what I'll do is I'll turn up some flange nuts to spread the load, and hopefully there'll be less chance of it coming undone as well. A nice flange dome nut would be quite nice to go in there, but I think that just increased the height of it. So we'll just go for a flange nut to bolt these up to the engine. less chance of it disappearing down the valves than if it's got a nice big flange on it as well. Yeah, so little jobs to do. So that to do, exhaust plate to make up for there, to block that off. And then once that's done, case of bolting this, starting bolting this on the engine, working out my linkages and cables for chokes and fuel lines and banjos. It will give me a chance to order some, I don't think I've got any banjos this side, so order a couple of banjos up for the carbs to get the fuel to them. And what else do I have to do? Oh yeah, modify the fuel tap position and fuel line route. But I think we'll do that once we've got the carbs in position and we know where the banjos are going to go, so we know where we can run our fuel lines to. So there you go. I think that'll do you for now. Gone on a bit, and I'll start the machining on this and making the studs and getting it ready for the next stage. Right, so that is the upgrade to the Riley. Twin 1-inch SUs going to be fitted to it. Should sort of pep it up a little bit, but the main thing is it should make it a lot more drivable. Yeah, not so hard work when you come into junctions and things like that. So looking forward to that. For all those that are saying that's not original, it was an option. You can have it as an option to have twin SUs fitted at the factory. The only sort of thing we've gone away from originality is the ones I'm fitting are a few years later. Not much later, but you know, a few years later. So yeah, it was done to them. And I've spoken to a few Riley owners, old Riley boys, and everyone that I spoke to that told them what I was doing, they all said, yeah, best thing you can do. Yeah, throw those NFs away, they're nothing but trouble. So yeah, we won't throw it away, we'll pop it on the shelf so we've still got it to go with the car. Right, you can go on the shelf for retired carburettors. And I'll get on and machine those bits and bobs up, that end plate for the exhaust, new studs, new nuts, and then we'll start bolting it back on. So yeah, you'll have to sort of come back and see how we get on. All right, hope you liked the video. If you did, give us a little like, hit subscribe, blah de blah de blah. See you next time. All right, cheerio. Hello and welcome to Tweed's Garage. In this video, wonky glasses, and tune back in to see further, and then we'll have a little chat about that, make a start, and